open it and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. I'm gonna get out of here, man.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's your boy 2G, and I'm back. I'm back. Again this week. I'm making progress. The control room has returned. Now, I'm not wearing these glasses, these stylish shades just for stylish sake. I got a little teary-eyed recently, today. Earlier today, I was doing some digging and trying to set up my account so that I would be able to, get this control room thing kicking off the way I needed to get kicked off in terms of being able to, there's links and stuff that I put into the description section of the videos. So as you can see, I've been working on my thumbnails and what have you. And I got my thumbnails working the way I like. And if you see this one, I'll kind of break down what that's all about and why I'm wearing my shades today. It's a bittersweet, reminiscent kind of situation for me today. I have to be honest with you, I wasn't prepared for what I found when I was looking for a way to make sure this particular YouTube channel is set up properly. So if people want to click on the links in the description to check out more of what I do, they can do so. And in order to do that, down the rabbit hole of identity verifications and what have you, right? And apparently I set up an account a while back, and it was never really a channel that I made public. But a number of years ago, and when I say a number of years ago, I mean almost 15 years ago, I found that within that account there was a YouTube video that I had put together with all kinds of pomp and circumstance like I'm doing now, but with a lot less knowledge, but chock full of ambition. And this particular video was me making a demo of a track, just making a beat on it from scratch kind of thing. Kind of like what I do with my other, not channel, this stays on this channel, but kind of like what I do with my other playlist of videos that I put together. And I kind of got choked up because time is an MFer. Time is funny, man. And you get to see who you are, and compare and contrast to who you are. Now, obviously, there's a lot of growth, but there was a lot of course naivety into getting into what I'm doing now at that time. And I was always going through the ups and downs as any creative person would, trying to be ambitious and do what you do. But what's funny about it is that anytime things get rocky in my life, just exactly how they are now, I kind of, it's all in, 10 toes down, foot to the gas, pedal to the metal. I'm doing what I can to, showcase who I am. And it's for some reason, for me, you know how some people say it's easier to do it when you're not going through stuff. For me, it's motivational. It's like I work harder under pressure. And I've also grown accustomed to pressure and things of that nature where you're unsure and uncertain of your future. And just like it is today. And fortunately and unfortunately, it's a collective thing going on, across the nation when it comes to this, because now, let's see if this is working. Yeah. Okay. I have to fix that. Apparently I don't have my Zoom working today, but the way things are now, it's pretty crazy because you don't really get to have that experience as a solo person. Now you get to share it with the world. You know what I mean? And so pretty fortunate in that, right, that the world gets to understand the degree of uncertainty, because usually you're on a solo mission. So needless to say, as you if you've looked at the thumbnail, you got to see a very younger, slimmer, more spry version of myself back in, and I think that was posted in 2011. I can't say exactly the day I created that one. It couldn't have been maybe a year or two prior to that, so maybe 2009 as a possibility, but I cannot say for certain. I know it was a different version of me that I was pretty like both impressed by the ambition. So I can imagine 10 years from now where me looking at me again, because I'm always talking to myself and telling myself that I want to be able to, you know, prepare myself for my future self. I don't care if I'm 80 years old. You know, I want to have that Jack LaLanne ambition, you know what I mean? Just being able to get out there and push myself in a way that my future self would be happy about. I also mentioned a couple of things I was going to do to kind of give you a little taste and a preview. Let's see if it's here or not. Yeah. So this particular camera, hopefully it's still on, will give you an overhead look at my layout. And so as you can see here, this is, you know, a better view of how I get down when I start to do my some more of my actual beat demos and jam sessions and just kind of demonstrations. I will basically be kind of cutting back and forth between this layout and the main one that you see. So yeah, that's going to be one of the things. Really not happy that I don't have my Zoom working this time around. Sure I'm not missing it. 1 second. Well, while I'm talking, I'll try to multitask and get that in there. So yeah, I will show this video that I've been working on and kind of comment on it as well. So that's kind of like the whole reason for the glasses. I was like, you know what, last minute, let me throw these things on. Let me set the mood, put some candles up, because this is a unique occasion, even though this is pretty much my third video of being consistent with this. I was pretty impressed, man, and I was like, all right, I need to do something different this time. And as I was doing it, I was like, let me prepare myself by throwing these shades on, because I might get choked up looking like Rocky in Rocky 4 when he lost Apollo Creed. It kind of got me a little emotional, and I really do express that publicly, as I did the other day at the DMV. That one was more of a public humiliation. So maybe if I had shades on, I'd be a little cooler when I did it at that point. Needless to say, things have, as you can tell, have smoothed out for me and gotten a lot smoother in terms of my personal endeavors to keep this thing afloat, or try to keep this thing afloat. Like I said, when you don't see your outcome and you don't see but 2 or 3 feet ahead of you, it's easy to be very, very discouraged and just want to kind of like throw in the towel. So fortunately, today was one of those days where I was able to kind of program myself a little more have more management in terms of my time, and went to the gym just prior to this, so got a little bit of a couple of buzzes going on at the same time. So let me see if I can fix this Zoom thing, because I wanted that to be still active. Let's see here. Let me find out which one that is and why it's not working. I need you, man. Don't lose me. Give me a hot second. Okay, I'm gonna put you on standby just so I can fix this, and I shall return with some interesting things for you to check out. Be right back. Okay, almost got that baby working. Hang tight. Okay, so instead of that, we'll just do it this way. How about that? That way it doesn't toggle so much. Do equals. Some stuff you just have to do while you're in the middle of it, just so you can make sure you got it. Save that. And we'll get back to it. Appreciate your patience there. Oh, I got to put my shades back on. So let's see if this works. There we go. Now we got our toggle working there. So let's switch back. With regard to that, need one more. I'll show you how it's supposed to work like it did last time. There you go. And we'll come out of studio mode so you can see. Nope, it didn't work. You know when you're doing stuff and then it works and then it doesn't? Kind of sucks. So for now, this is how it's going to work. All right, we'll do it this way. And I'll fix it next time. Now this is just only going to be seen on my horizontal version. So if you're on vertical, you don't even see anything happening at all. But back to my my little back history story. So I'm gonna cut over to this other screen here, see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's start with this one here. Give you something to kind of trip out about. I'll show you the intro and then I'll skim through some of this. Should be loading up now. Yeah, there we go.
Geniusmusic.com.
Yes. Another night in the studio. What's good, y'all? Welcome to 2geniusmusic.com. I'm 2Genius, your host here for this little demonstration video. I'm glad you can make it. And let me stop it right there. Look at this youngster, man. I'm teary-eyed, thinking he's cool, got his collar all popped up. What's that, Ali jacket? I think I did a photo shoot with that same jacket. I can't find it. I wish I could find it. Oh man, I don't even know the manufacturer. I like that jacket. I thought I was the shit. Oh my God. I'm laughing and crying at the same time. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Okay, let me play a little bit of this. It's been a long anticipated, long awaited website for me to actually put up. I know a lot of people. By the way, if I'm talking about my website, 2geniusmusic.com, which no longer exists. It's 2Genius World. Back then I couldn't afford to keep the site up and lost my domain name. And just decided to make something bigger, which is what you're experiencing now. I've been anxiously waiting for me to get a lot of beats available for them to get online and directly from me. Well, now's the time, so I'm really excited that I finally got this up. And I haven't watched this thing in its entirety. I couldn't make it through. I didn't even make it to the intro. I just happened to skim through it and I was like amazed at figuring out how to set up the camera. So I got, as you can see, with this camera that I'm using right now, that you're viewing right now, it's, you know, when I'm in this mode, it kind of tracks my motion, right? But when I'm, I didn't have that skill and I don't think the technology had been really up to par at that time to do that. But it just gives more of a natural flow of like, you know, somebody actually holding a real camera and just kind of, you know, catching your emotions just in case I decide to get excited. You know, you can capture that and you don't lose it. But when it came to this particular situation, not so much. I had to kind of get creative. And so I was able to pull that off by having not necessarily a motion tracker, but a handheld after the fact. This is all post. None of this is live like I'm doing now. So this is all post. And a long time. Been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. As I'm always doing. I'm trying to get in front of the scenes. I was behind the scenes, but there's just like a literal post-production Adobe Premiere throwing a handheld keyframe effect on there, so it looks like somebody's just gently moving the camera. Some of my work outside of the music realm. You see how it shifts a little bit? This site, I designed it myself. I know there's people out there that charge for it. You have to tweak it to make it natural. Even though they have a lot of these things, sometimes it doesn't give off exactly the vibe you want. So, yeah, got the Akai MP. Looks like MPK 49, so it had some drum pads on there. 49 keys. You know me, I love the knobs and the slides, so I'm not a big drum pad person, but I do like using the drums and the slides and the knobs for a lot of just customizing and assigning. So that's one of my things I really like to do. It just gives me a lot of freedom to work, and so that's why when I do it, I kind of make an effort to let's see if I can show you. Try to make an effort to, not go overkill with it, but make sure everything is something that I don't necessarily have to label, but can intuitively remember where to look for stuff and where to place it and all that. So there's all kinds of programs out there to allow you to do that type of thing, but it's all about finding the one that fits you the way you need it to work for you. And so that's what I was able to accomplish. And yeah, it's very unique, man. Very unique situation there. So back to this. Yeah, I set up a microphone, a studio microphone. Like, this was like a place that we have. Colfax is the longest avenue in this state, and it literally, from the far east of the state to the foothills, and I think even beyond. But yeah, Central Denver. This one was in Aurora. I've worked at many studios in the town, and this particular one was called Livewire at the time. Actually, I think after this time it was no longer Livewire. It went to Yo Hood maybe by the time I got to doing this. So big up to Q Time, Quincy, and big up to Ronnie Hoodfather. They both, Ron Cosby, they both were able to help me keep this kind of ambition rolling. And they were very ambitious as well. And I think we were one of the first to really start the live streaming kind of thing in our state prior to YouTube really kicking off. It was really a good thing to be a part of. And let's see if I can come out of this mode here. It was I think between the year of, I want to say 2006, maybe 2007 till about 2000 and maybe 13 at the latest. I had a little stretch there, maybe 2014 ish, give or take. Could have been all the way to 2015, but that year was pretty awesome. That series of years was pretty awesome. That was my second, what I consider to be my second tenure of college years doing this type of thing. where I was, you know, just kind of learning the ropes of music production in a way where, um, you know, it's the Wild West. Technology's constantly growing and changing, and you never really get to always be in a spot where you can have your feet up under you. You just really trying to learn on the fly, and that's always been the case, especially now with AI. You got to navigate through that, right? So, put this up here so I can just stay engaged here. So during those periods of time, it was really kind of a lot of growth, a lot of work, and still once again trying to isolate and find a way to work and build something that you could have a substantial for yourself, as opposed to just only kind of pouring into other people's ideas and projects. And as you see with me, and as you go to my website, you see I got a good list of things that I'm kind of proficient at when it comes to being creative and technical at the same time. And that's not an easy thing to do. And I understand that it's kind of like intimidating. Even to me, it's like something that I don't know why I'm crazy enough to continue to do stuff like this. It's just one of those drives you have when you're a creative person. So, anybody out there that's in a similar wheelhouse completely understands where I'm coming from. Even if it's whether you're into fitness, whether you're it's the corporate ladder that you're climbing, you always have that kind of like drive that wants you to try to see what you can do better than what you're currently doing. And so with this particular thing back here, that's kind of partly motivating and partly trippy. Oops, sorry about that. It's partly motivating and partly trippy because, of course, you're looking down memory lane, and you're also seeing a version of you that has, still had that spark from the very beginning. So let me just kind of skip ahead through some of this, if you will. Stick with me here. So I go in and I start making tracks, right? I'll post it so you guys can watch it on whenever you want, but I'm over here and just trying to pretend like I'm making the hottest beat in the world, and yeah, just having fun with it, really. I don't know if this was pre-constructed and I started building on it, because I find that when you're working on stuff like this and you want to demo it, sometimes starting from complete scratch can be a little bit tedious to watch, and it's already tedious enough to do for all the time that you spend behind the scenes working on it and coming up with the idea to begin with, even if it's on the fly. So, which is why you don't see a lot of people doing this kind of thing that I'm doing now, where I want to kind of demo that. I want to do my Bob Ross version of creating something, from scratch. I can't pull it off in 30 seconds like they do with those pre-constructed tracks that they try to make speed beats with a stopwatch, or even back when there was like a quota, like if you couldn't make 50 beats a week, then you wasn't shit. That's not the kind of guy I am as a producer. I take my time. Now some stuff comes to me and it just, now pardon the analogy, but it's kind of like, relieving your bowels. Sometimes it's constipated, sometimes it flows. And same can be said when you're making a track, right? So, or anything creative or anything endeavor that you're trying to pour your energy into. And that's literally how that played out for me in some cases. Now, so when I'm doing these demos, you might see some tracks where I struggle with, and I might just say, you know what, I'm not doing anything else to this track. I'm just going to come back to it later. And then we'll, either I'll come back to later, or I'll table it and curb that and start from scratch. Or sometimes I'll morph a track in the middle of making one, but I won't lose the original concept. I tend to try to, these days, make a backup at certain points where I'll save it and call it something else, because I'm branching the idea off into something else. That way I don't lose that original concept that could be dope later. Just needs to be revisited with some fresher insight and time away from it. So yeah, so back to 2011 me, or somewhere in that era. I keep the metronome rocking too, building out a horn melody. So yeah, this one was coming from scratch, but I did do some, since this wasn't live, I was able to edit and do some jump cuts and some transitions to kind of not let you see all the behind the scenes of the boring stuff. The boring stuff. Well, sometimes the boring stuff is what people want to see. Now, this is Cubase, a very familiar metronome, clicking off right now. I am a strict addict of Cubase for some reason, at least the classic version. I don't like the newer ones because they're almost stripped down, and it looks like they were trying to make room for a lot more, what do you want to call it? Features, but at the same time, I'm also about the aesthetics of things. As you can see, I like things to kind of be visually grabbing your attention as you're creative. So when you're working on it, you feel like you're working on something, working with a tool that has some heart and soul behind it. Some of those kind of, like, it took me a while even with Ableton, because I was actually turned on to Ableton, and it took me a while to kind of pull away from Cubase. So I use Ableton as well lately. Mostly I use Ableton for all my current day production. But Ableton Live is how it was introduced, and I think it still is in some ways. But even with that, I've hit certain walls, and I'll explain why I don't upgrade, and it's not for the reasons you might think. The working on this kind of a track, though, I was
Open.
Are you there? I hope I didn't go back too far. But what I was basically demoing is the fact that when you're looking at, sit back in, yeah. So when you're looking at, I wonder why that goes off. Another button mutes my microphone, so hopefully I didn't lose all of me in this stream. But I'm basically kind of describing to you, the secondary camera was just basically of the screen was just literally a screen recording running while I was actually, and I can't tell you if I was I think I was screen recording and getting audio directly into another source somehow. I didn't have two computers, so I had everything happening all on one computer. I don't know how I pulled it off. And then, of course, the camera itself was recording on its own. And so by doing that, I was able to send that back in post and line everything up. And it was, of course, easy to line up since you're working on music. You can hear the beat and you can be like, okay, well, you can see me bobbing my head, or you can see the music visually on the screen there and just easily line things up. Yes, you guys, I'm influenced by a lot of things like film scores, video games. So yeah, I even zoomed in on a couple of things and did a mouse follow too somehow. Yep, I had to zoom. Wow. Don't ask me how I pulled all this off back then. Trying to build something epic. Let's see here. Oh, I got my mixer up there. A little mini mixer I was using. Didn't realize that. Okay. Got my headphones in. And you'll see me do that sometimes when I'm working on my current tracks. I'll have my headphones in so that I can kind of verify certain sonics are happening. Some stereo effects are possibly happening the way they need to that you can't hear within just the speaker settings. So I had, of course, desktop monitors at that point in time that you see there. I wonder if I can zoom in on these here. Not yet, but yeah, I had that going on alongside of just, you know, running the whole Cubase thing in that way. So what was pretty dope about that was I was able to kind of mix a few things in through my headphones, and I was probably also monitoring the recording at that time too, just to make sure the live recording was good. Yeah, because I'm playing around with the you can't see it from here, but there's an audio interface just to the inside of that mixer. So let me skip through a few things here. Yeah, I was using my little beat pattern maker samples. Putting the drum pattern together. And I like this because it was similar to what you would find on FL Studio, Fruity Loops at the time probably, where you could build your patterns out. And this was Beat Designer right within Cubase. And this is what I was saying about Cubase, is that Cubase is insane in terms of the fact that you can, all this stuff was kind of like built in. There was a couple of things that, you know, you had to add on as plugins, but I was able to access this this version of Cubase, and I couldn't, once I got a hold of it, I couldn't let it go. Now back then, as it is now, it was tough to actually get a copy of this and afford to be able to, you know, get all the things you needed. So whether it was somebody who had a copy, we were sharing copies and all that kind of stuff, you know, back in the old, you know, Napster days, and, you know, what is the other one? LimeWire, and right, you know, before before the Pirate Bay became a thing as much. So that's how we did it in the hood, man. I got some backstories. I'm gonna bring you even further back in terms of how all of this kind of kicked off for me, but I'll save that for another day. But you won't have to wait long to hear about that, because I want to get a lot of this stuff in the very beginning of getting this new version of me out, where you get some history and kind of follow me on a revisit some of the journey it took for me to get to even this point, which is nowhere, but it's somewhere, you know what I mean? So yeah, awesome stuff. Put some doubles and triples and all that good stuff. It's annoying to listen to the metronome throughout all of it, so sometimes you'll hear it cut out, but and this was like part 1, so I made 2 parts. It's not even that long. It's, what is this, like about 15 minutes long at the most. So I'm putting some organ or something, I guess. Yeah. And no, by the way, I don't have access to this original track. I wish I did. I would recreate it. I might still recreate it just for the hell of it. So when I make tracks, I tend to try to construct it in a way where I get the raw chorus idea out how I want it, and then build it out from there. And kind of break it down and build it up and see it. As long as I have like a raw core sound of a loop, then it's pretty much like all the colors are there. Then I can say, okay, for the arrangement, which is a whole separate process, you know, going from left to right, intro, verse, chorus, change up, bridge, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, vamp out. That's your traditional Western style of most songs. Now, of course, especially pop songs and things like that. When it comes to rap, it's similar, 16 bars versus 8-bar choruses, you know. And but that's the traditional way of making things. A lot of stuff is, of course, changed up. Just because people got real creative. Auto-tune helped to make it even more creative, where people's like, you know what, let me throw 2 choruses on this song. Let me throw a pre-chorus on this song, because you can do so much melodically. But yeah, this was obviously a little more of a down south type of anthem-y type of song here. All right, so that was that, and it kind of fades out from there, and then there's a part 2. Pull that up. Let's see here. I forever hit that button. I gotta put something there to remind me not to do that. So here's part 2. And this one's a much shorter, I believe. Yeah, about 10 minutes long. But of course, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I felt it wasn't big enough, so I added more horns. More horns. More brass. Orchestration. So I'm going to see if I can find some parts where I was doing arranging. Oh, I put, what's this here? At this point on, the track really takes off. As if this weren't hot enough already. So clearly I had already heard everything, and this wasn't on the fly, so I could add stuff like that. Didn't have my overhead camera and stuff like that. So at that turnaround, I was like, oh, that sounds dope. Let me see if I could do something with that, and ended up making a whole different breakdown out of it. I didn't, completely abandon the original concept, so that's still there, but this is just a whole separate section. I'm just freaking out about how young I looked at that time. No gray hairs. This is a wonderful time machine, isn't it? Nice. Oh, this is a funny part I remember. Hold on, watch this. Even though I haven't seen this in a long time, I always remember this. See, see if it didn't key. The phone is ringing her. Yo. Hey, what's good, man? No, just working. I don't know what it said, but it was pretty funny how I timed it. So I kept it in there and chose to edit it. So I have to go back and listen to see what I actually said. But I timed it right to come right back into the beat. So that was fun. Anyway, let's see what else we got. So as you can see, the track is getting more built out, and I'm working on this highlighted blue section is the other section I'm working on. So it loops from there. Hang on, we're almost there. So anyway, that's me building that out. But because I always was liking to use special effects.
Open it.
Special effects here. And I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what I did when I felt comfortable enough with the song. You might notice it in my hands for those video editors. All right. Uh-oh. What's going on? What's happening? You can't hear me? Well, the mic is on. Okay. It must have went away. What's going on here? Did I just blast off into space? What's going on here? Sorry if I'm giving you a seizure. I'm sorry if I'm giving you a seizure. Wowzers. So clearly there's something going on, and we didn't have like the special effects that you have on your phone or your camera where it automatically tracks you as the subject, because of course you can see the banners are still on the wall. Oh, by the way, if you saw a familiar logo of a friend of mine, it's Urban Nerd. So shout out to good old J1 Jermaine Jude. Remember working on a lot of stuff with you, man, and Rico and O2P and Out to Profit, and the list goes on. Like I said, I did a lot of work back in the day, man. So he had some stuff we were marketing. He was a good photographer at the time. Was also working at the Colorado Institute of Art. So we got photo shoots. He got photo shoots and got the logos done, and he had shirts printed up. And so those were some banners, little mini banners we promoted on the wall and stuff like that. So it was Urban Nerd. I don't know if his website is still up, but he's a very good graphic designer. And so we were always cross advertising and whatnot. But yeah, back to the animation and the background and all that. Yeah, overboard, you think? Oh, okay, so that was fun. I'll finish with my closer here. Might as well get that out the way. that's it, man. That's some grinding right there. But glad y'all was able to check that out for me, man. This is just the beginning, like I said. Just the beginning a long time ago. So it's just the beginning. Whoever gets at this track, man, please, if you get it, if you buy a lease, if you buy exclusive, either way, I want to hear what you did. I want to hear your product. So, man, just let me know. Give me some feedback. Tell me if I'm doing good. Tell me if I got some ways to go. I got a lot of years in this game, but I'm ready to actually take it to the next level. I got a lot of big. So, yeah. If he had only known the journeys and the choices he would have made to get him to this point, which is why, and I got to give it up to never stop and never quitting. And man, this stuff is hard, man. You got to stick with it, man. You got to show love for being dedicated. I don't care what it is, whether it's working on your health, working on your fitness, working on your mental health, working on the choices you make, all that. You got to stay committed to who you are individually, no matter what people say, how they may view you, the whole nine. You really got to stay committed to that. That's super important. It's just one of those things, man. So, yeah, I had to go in and show you that. By the way, I did do my research. I told you I wasn't going to leave you hanging in terms of that last show yesterday about part one of many of my all-time favorite movies, and we were talking about the Blues Brothers and how that impacted me. And fortunately, Google has been kind of beat out by our good a good trusted reliable source that I use now, Chat GPT. I use it a lot. I don't hang my entire hat on it. I use it as a tool. I don't use it to prevent me from being using my own creativity and my own diligence. Sometimes I test my knowledge on things, but I always say, okay, if I'm hitting a wall, or if it's just literally something really small or something crazily technical that I have yet to learn, then I will ask questions in a way that don't allow it to just spoon feed me. That's my general MO when it comes to working with Chat GPT. So that being said, I did my research for something very small and simple, like a Google search, just to find out if, in fact, there was information. So you're going to learn this information as I did, because I didn't read the answer completely. So here we go. The question is, simply put, I'll put it where you can see the entire thing here. Hang on. Was the mall scheduled for demolition in the Blues Brothers 1980? Good question. A short answer, yes and no. So let's see why it's yes and no. The mall was used in the Blues Brothers 1980. Oops, get my view back there. 1980 was already closed. I kind of figured that. I mean, I hope it wasn't open when they filmed the chase scene, but it wasn't demolished right away. Here's what the historical records show. The mall is Dixie Square Mall in Harvey, Illinois. It had closed in 1978, just right before the movie was released, or thereabouts. So by the time filming happened in 79, it was abandoned. They just abandoned, kept everything in there. According to, I wonder how much stuff was actually kind of like added in for destruction effect, or if they just left stuff and just truly abandoned everything. According to a review of this filming, the production designers rebuilt, there you go, 32 storefronts inside the empty mall. Must also rebuilt the Toys R Us too, huh? Or at least the logo. Who knows? Inside for stunt sequence, and likely smashed through real glass, real merchandise, etc. The mall was indeed slated for demolition much later, but not immediately after film. CBS Chicago reports that demolition finally got underway decades later. Wow. Well, of course, they at least demoed the inside. So if it's decades later, they helped make room for new stuff. Actually, demolition was officially announced to begin much later. So directly answer your question, the Blues Brothers movie used a mall that was already closed, but yeah, so we get it. Interesting. I just was curious about that, you know? Yeah, that's kind of cool to know. Cool knowledge. I'm going to probably see the other movie, which I was interested just ever so slightly to check out, which is the Predator Badlands. I'm into some sci-fi stuff. I'm also into a lot of psychological thrillers. I don't like action just for action's sake. I prefer to, it to be a complement to the actual storyline of a movie and make sure that the plot is engaging enough. So yeah, because obviously the Blues Brothers has nothing but stupid action for action's sake, but the plot very simple, but it's just enough to substantiate the whole like fiasco that takes place, and more so the comedic timing fills in where logic disappears completely. So, and that happens in movies like back in the 80s, like Ghostbusters, uh, the Groundhog Days, what else? Coming to America's. I'm listing out some stuff that I'll probably go back and review, and that's why I told you I'll be doing my version of let's see, what is it called? So I can pull it up here without it giving me any trouble. It'll be called 2G Second Take. That's my take on things, and see how well my memory holds up and of things actually being worthwhile and worth watching. But I think the jury's in on a lot of that stuff that I just mentioned. It's got high ranking on reviews even today. So I don't see a lot of that kind of caliber or quality of movies out these days. It's just this one of those things where I'm kind of shocked. I know a lot of things played a role into how we consume entertainment these days. Whether it's now my mic went. Did it? Or is it? Hello. No, it's still there. Whether it's some of the crazy political events that we've experienced that you see a little bit of clips of in my intro, and I will be actually breaking down my thoughts and views on things that have transpired and shaped how we are consume entertainment, and some of the messages and things that have been injected into what we watch and consume to help pass the time. And, of course, back in those days, it wasn't nearly as in your face, and it was more subtle messaging, things like that. But now it's more blatant and heavy-handed and preachy, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't think many people are. But what I am a fan of is people actually taking the time to create something and build it, and give it the passion and rawness to it without losing sight of what inspired people to do things like this to begin with. It could be drama filled, it could be dark, it could be light. It doesn't matter. Creativity is creativity, but it's all about what you allow to impact and influence the younger ones coming up that are consuming this, and what kind of like cultural shaping is happening through that. you don't want to see, we don't want to see our offspring and our, our youth come into a world where they're less ambitious, and they're more spoon fed through AI, and just not having the drive like that inspires people. Especially you want to inspire yourself, just like I did, to go back and look and take a peek back in history and spark more drive into myself. You know what I mean? Things like that are very, they're vital. They're vital for you to keep pushing forward, no matter how steep the climb is, how resistant the current is. Find something to grab onto, gather yourself, and know that your creativity can still thrive in the midst of all this. Like, a lot of the stuff that we consumed during those times was people doing exactly that. It just wasn't as prominent in terms of, the craziness that we experience now politically. That makes things so much crazier for us to be who we want to be and be inspired and get up every day, because it feels like you're living under a cloud your entire life, and you got to create your own sunshine and rainbows. So that's what I'm continuing to endeavor to do. And anybody that understands that, and I welcome you to come and check me out at my website and just, take a visit. I don't have everything completely up and running, but I do have, what I do have is it kind of gives you a good sampler of what's to come. And I'll constantly be building that out as I'm building this show out. And also, like to hear what everybody has to say. As you've seen, this is kind of popped up over the periodically throughout the show, where you can actually chime in and give your viewpoints on things. You might even have some things that to cover that would really bring insight to me that I had never even thought about. I would be a very I'd be really like open to stuff like that. That's kind of what helps me thrive also. So I like to encourage people to come check me out at twogeniusworld.com. And yeah, once again, I showed it yesterday, but I'll show it again today, where you can actually kind of just go to the website, and if you go to that link, you will literally be able to, let's see, I'll throw it up one more time here. You'll literally be able to kind of just check out how to join, and they'll be very easy to follow instructions on how to do so. You got your 2 buttons here. I've set up, it was coming soon, but I actually was successfully able to set up voice altering. So if you want to ever come in, you can, and you don't want me to know who you are, that's no problem. Also, you can come right on in, and I will still be able to communicate with you. I won't hear your natural voice, and nobody else will. And you can just be in. That's only for the mic only guests. And all you got to do is just, once you're into the room, you'll be able to just leave, go into the chat, like that chat icon, and just type in change voice, and I got you covered. And this is just a couple quick instructions and stuff like that on what you would have to do to make sure that you are able to join successfully in the way that you would like. So that's like,
Open it.
that's very easy the way I got it set up. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to kind of go over today, or this evening. I know it's late once again, but I think the next time that I do go on, I will be kind of doing a demo of me working on some tracks from scratch, either from scratch or pre-structured. So that'll be my next move when I come back. Excuse me. So this was fun. Little burnt out for today, but definitely come and check me out. Check out the website. You can also find me on, any of the social links. I'm still building out the one for a TikTok. That one's kind of crazy. When I get set up properly, I probably also will be doing some gaming so that I can regain access to doing stuff on that platform when time permits. But for now, the blue, the red, and the rainbow colored platforms are the ones I'm currently using. I use code words because for some reason, a lot of these platforms, if you're promoting other platforms through one platform, they tend not to like that. So, who knows how it all plays out in the future, but that's it for the evening, y'all. This is your boy 2G. I am shutting it down for the night. Thanks for kicking with me. If you haven't seen it tonight, come check me out a little bit later. The videos are going to build out more and more. Sorry, I'm still getting used to my microphone. I got to find placements between the microphone mute and my intro. Other than that, man, it's been a serious blast, and I am kicking it on out of here. Love y'all. Have a good evening. Peace.